A pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com. Coming to you live from San Jose, California, I'm Ben Taylor with Philip Kern on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Tonight's matchup features the 0-2 Branham Bruins visiting the 2-0 Independence 76ers. We are just about set for action here in San Jose. Coin toss has already taken place. Independence deferred, so Branham is going to receive to start the first half. Branham, under the guidance of head coach Nick Gardner, who is in his second year. Branham wearing white uniforms, royal blue and Carolina blue, mixed in as well. Independence, who's going to be kicking off to the Bruins, wearing bright red unis with white helmets. Officially, their colors are very patriotic: red, white, and blue. Philip, should be a good game here. A nice crowd has turned out. A few travelers came down the 680 from Branham here to Independence to catch this one. But 0-2, the Bruins looking for their first win of this 2012 campaign against the currently undefeated 76ers of Independence. And currently we're just waiting for Independence to take the field, as the sun just about setting off to our left here in the press box. Once Branham receives, the ball will be moving from right to left. And it appears they need one more member of the chain gang in order to get this game underway. So a good citizen sprints across the field and is going to get set up over there before we get underway.
Taking one for the team.
That's exactly right. As we are just about set up now, back to receive for Branham, number 10, Kendall Ang, and number 6, Delbertson Daniel. Again, to start, Bruins are going to be moving from right to left. Kickoff going from left to right. Kicking off for the 76ers will be Deontay Davis. And a bit of a bluff there of an onside kick that the Bruins quickly reacted to, but now normal kickoff formation for the 76ers. And we are just about set to go here. Kick is off and away. Whistles blow. Flags thrown. And I think somebody crossed the 40 before the ball was kicked. So the 76ers are going to move back 5 yards to the 35-yard line and try this one again.
Already a bit of a choppy start here for the Sixers, and of course, and there you have the penalty there. Looks like a legal procedure, false start, one of the two.
Might be a blessing in disguise for them, because that kick from Davis certainly was not a boisterous one.
No, it was not. Absolutely wasn't.
We'll see if he's able to get any more leg into this second try. Again, Eng and Daniel back to receive for the Bruins. Kick is off, and it is off towards the right, fielded at the 30-yard line. Then we're going to come back off to the left and lose about 7 yards as Omar El Saroji caught the football and tried to change directions, and it hurt him in the long run.
No, absolutely did, and I don't think he even expected to return that kick right there, and you can kind of tell he was trying to think on his feet, but now it's time to see what Branham's offense can do here.
During warm-ups, the Bruins were really just trying short passes with their starting quarterback, Mitchell King. Nothing more than about 5 to 10 yards down the field, as they'll set up in the pistol, little motion, and flags are thrown, incomplete, as the pass is thrown up the middle.
Could be a little bit of illegal motion here, perhaps.
So that was a free play, it would appear, for the Bruins. It's the men in the zebra uniforms.
Yes.
Going to huddle up.
Affectionately called the Zebras, if you will.
And try to figure out exactly what went wrong. And it sounded like the referee was talking to the independent sideline.
Yeah, making the motion to have him to back off the sideline, maybe getting a little too excited there for their first home game here this evening.
So, in essence, there's no penalty on the play. Still 2nd and 10 now from the 22-yard line as the ball will be handed off to Jermani Rogers. Rogers, bouncing off to the right, will gain 2, maybe 3 yards there on the second down try. It'll be 3rd and long here for Branham.
And, of course, Jermani Rogers, someone who we were talking about in our pregame show, he's going to play a big role, starting running back, starting strong safety. So my guess is we're going to be calling his name quite a bit with his chances to be on both sides of the ball.
I think the Bruins hope we're calling Rogers names a lot because that means they're
in the end zone.
The game. That's exactly right. So King, under center, takes the snap, bluffs the throw, hands off to Rogers. Rogers trying to go back up the middle is going to lose a yard. And that'll bring up 4th down. And as I'm sure you can hear, we are within very close proximity to the Independence High School band.
Now we already have an injury on the field, Chris McDonough.
And that injury took place way away from the play.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely did. But even going back to that last play, looks like Branham was trying to run a draw play out of that pistol formation. And we even were talking about this last week in the game against between Cupertino and Yerba Buena. We're seeing a lot more of that pistol offense taking hold at the high school levels of football. And really sort of an interesting formation because you're always familiar with the shotgun. Quarterback stands 5 yards back. This isn't quite it. It's sort of a mutated form of the I formation, what you would typically see.
Well, and it allows high schools to get away more often with quarterbacks who don't necessarily have to have strong arms. If they're mobile, the pistol offense gives those kind of QBs more options.
Absolutely.
So the injured player has gotten up and off the field. So we are at 4th and 8.5, looks more like 9, is the punt is going to be kicked away, land at the 45-yard line and downed at Branham's 47. So not a great punt there for the Bruins as JoJo Valenzuela was the punt returner for the 76ers, but he just wisely let that one bounce as Independence with great field position on their first series.
He didn't even outkick his coverage. It was like it just landed perfectly. Unfortunately, it's just bad field position here for the Branham defense.
Ted Tui, the quarterback for Independence, is going to drop back to pass on first down, go deep down the left side, and overthrow the intended receiver. Kahari Vanderbilt was the intended receiver, and he was double, if not triple, covered down that left sideline. But a deep try from the 76ers goes for naught, and it's 2nd and 10.
It was really kind of a surprising play. I mean, typically on a first down, you would think they would try to get the running game established. I mean, Valenzuela was there in the backfield, and here's an interesting one. They're going to split him out wide to the near sideline.
Offset I, as a little motion from Vanderbilt. Handoff goes up the middle, and pushing forward across the 40 is Valenzuela, And the ball comes loose at the end, and we'll have to see who they award it to. It's the Bruins. And pardon me, it was Alan Anderson who was given the handoff, and he fumbles it. Flag was thrown, and looks like illegal motion against the 76ers, so that's going to be declined, and Branham gets the football right back.
What a stroke of luck there for the Branham defense, quickly getting the Independence offense off the field. It was a really nice run by Alan Anderson. He kept the legs moving, but with about 4 Bruins defenders just draped all over him, he really had to know when to just
go down
to the ground and just secure the football, and now it cost him a possession already.
So Mitchell King will come back out as the Bruins look to have more success in their second series than in their first. Ball at the 33-yard line. Handoff goes up the middle and out across to the 38-yard line goes Jermani Rogers. First down marker is at the 44, so it's 2nd and 6. As 2 wide receivers split out to the right of King. Motion, King will hand it off to Delbertson Daniel, and Daniel going to break away across the 35, the 30, into Independence territory. He's down all the way to the 76ers 28, as a little misdirection play there for Branham works out very well, and they get a big play just outside now of the Independence red zone.
And that's one of those big plays that they absolutely needed. You mentioned bringing in Delbertson Daniel, moving him in motion from the far side. That's one of the advantages you have with the pistol. You can be a little creative with who you send in motion. And Mitchell King just handed him off, and he was off to the races. Once he got through that line of scrimmage, he was good and raring to go.
Rogers again in the backfield, and he will get the handoff, go right up the middle, and be tackled down at the 25-yard line. 3-yard gain there on first down for Rogers, as there's a defensive lineman, a little slow to get up, but he appears to be okay.
You can see with how Branham has divvied up the carry so far, they really regard Jermani Rogers as sort of the bell cow running back of their offense. Now, of course, Delbertson Daniel hit with the big play, but on the more traditional running plays, you'll probably see Rogers take those kinds of handoffs. He's been doing pretty well so far.
A little quick substitution for Independence, and they're a little discombobulated on the defensive side. And there will be the first timeout called of the game by the Independence sideline, as we've got no score here in San Jose, California. 8 minutes, 44 seconds left in the first quarter.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you are enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Bruins looking to strike first here away from home in Independence. Independence High School in East San Jose. For those of you familiar with the San Jose area or Bay Area. As King now with 2 wide receivers out to his left, 1 to his right. Rogers in the backfield. Ball at the right hash. Motion. King is going to keep it himself and gain 2 yards on second down. That'll set up 3rd and 6 from the 76ers 24.
It looked like that was a bit more of a designed run. Sort of what looked like maybe a draw play to begin with, and then just tuck it back in and just go up the middle. Not too sure what they were thinking there. It only garnered them a yard, but now we're going to get to see Branham really spread this out.
Haven't really seen King try to throw the ball yet. As King going to roll out to his left, stop, throw out, complete on the left flat to Delbertson Daniel. Daniel will get down to the 16-yard line, it looks like, of Independence, and that is a first down for the Bruins. Good pass there by King.
Really a nice, quick decision there by King. And, of course, the second first down that Daniel has gotten for these Branham Bruins. He's played a big role in this second drive here for the Bruins.
4 wide receiver set now for the Bruins as they'll hand it off to Rogers. Rogers bouncing off to the right is going to be stopped for no gain. He might have gotten a yard, as it looked like Carl Frost busted off the defensive line and hunted down Rogers there for the tackle. And it is, in fact, no gain. So 2nd and 10. King sets up. Rogers behind him. Again, motion from the outside receiver, this time Kendall Eng. King going to keep it, roll out to his right, throw into the end zone, incomplete. Victor Nunga was out there in the back corner of the end zone. But that pass out of Nunga's reach and a little bit too long as well.
But I like the play call there because they're really getting creative with how they're utilizing Mitchell King on some of these plays. They're having him roll out a couple of times, one to his weak side, one to his strong side, and really just kind of wanting the Independence defense to get back on their heels. That way they can't overplay to one side or the other.
Eng split out to the right again as King fakes the pass, hands off to Rogers. Rogers right up the middle, 10-5, end zone, touchdown Branham.
And, of course, Branham drawing first blood right there. A nice designed draw play. Again, you figured that was going to have some success at some point. And there you see King drops back just enough, lets the defense come up, let them pursue upfield. All Rogers had to do is take the ball. He had a lot of field right in the middle and just had to go right in there and didn't really look like he was touched.
Looks like the Bruins employing the good old swinging gate here for the extra point. As the extra point kick is now up, and it is good inside the right upright. And the Bruins are able to draw first blood here on the 18-yard touchdown run from Jermani Rogers. And Rogers going to get credit for the touchdown, but as we talked about earlier in that possession, Philip, you know, they really had great plays designed there that opened up in the end that touchdown run.
No, they really did. And, of course, this is what I like when an offense can do this, when they can mix up their pass and run calls, because a lot of times when you see a high school offense operate, they're so reliant on the run game that the passing game really isn't all that developed. But you really have to give credit to the play calling there, utilizing Mitchell King in a bunch of different ways and rolling him out on a couple different pass plays, even though one of them that was towards the back of the end zone intended for Nanga did not quite go as planned. At least you show independence. You're willing to shoot the ball downfield. At least makes him at least try to plan for it. And you saw in that last play, the design draw, getting the defense upfield. All Rogers had to do was just shoot out like a cannon, and he was just into the end zone.
76ers get hurt by the fumble as they had great field position but could not take advantage. Here they will receive the kickoff. Back to receive Devon Frierson and JoJo Valenzuela. Frierson takes it at his own 10, going to come across the 20, and he's down at the 23-yard line. And that is where the 76ers will start.
And it's going to be up to maybe we'll see if Alan Anderson can redeem himself from that fumble on the first possession. And again, this is an offense that we figured coming into this one was going to be reliant on the run game. It's really going to be up on the shoulders of JoJo Valenzuela, their leading rusher. Of course, we talked about him, 4 touchdowns last week. And the senior running back is going to have to play a big role for the Sixers to get this offense going.
Here, Valenzuela gets the pitch back and trying to go right up the middle, wrapped up. And he will gain a yard and a half. Looks like they'll give him 2 there on the first down run. Sets up 2nd and 8 as they need the 33-yard line for a first down. 7-0. Branham Bruins leading the independent 76ers. Just over 6.5 minutes left here in the first quarter in San Jose. As Tet Tui, the quarterback, hands it off to Alan Anderson. Anderson up the right side, breaks a couple tackles, going to be pushed out of bounds at the Branham 37. And again, right there, the 76ers just using a misdirection play. And it breaks a big one.
And you see what happened with that defense. They keyed in on Valenzuela, and Anderson utilized that misdirection going straight to the near sideline. And all he had to do was follow his blockers. The play was set up beautifully. That's redeeming yourself for a fumble.
Anderson out to the left of Tui. Valenzuela out to the right. Handoff goes right up the middle to the fullback. And he gets out to the Branham 34. Carl Frost, the ball carrier. As it's 2nd and 7 for the 76ers.
And gained the tough yards for that one.
A lot of options here on 2nd and 7. Valenzuela in motion, gets the pitch back, running out to the left. 35, gets out to the 30, wrapped up, pushed out of bounds, but gets out to the 25-yard line. That's a first down for Independence.
And there's a nice block there by Carl Frost to spring Valenzuela so he can get to the far sideline. He just followed his blocks, got him another first down. He's starting to get his sea legs under him a little bit. You can see this Independence running game really starting to establish itself a little bit. That was something they really had to focus on because with Tuyet Tui, eventually we'll get that name right. Tuyet Tui, seeing him throw on that first play, it was really surprising.
Tui under center, gets some motion from Anderson and flags right at the snap. False start.
Absolutely.
On the 76ers. Looked like somebody on the offensive line moved.
I think the entire offensive line collectively moved as a group. I mean, you want them to have that symbiotic relationship, but not when it draws a penalty. I mean, it seemed as if when Tui was barking out the signals, the entire line just jumped. You could tell the flag was coming.
That pushes them back to the Branham 30, making it 1st and 15. They need to get to the Bruins 15 for a first down. And Tui again going to get some motion, handed off to Kari Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt trying to get to the outside, will not gain much. 2 yards there on the first down play. Makes it 2nd and 13.
And this is something that the Branham defense is going to have to watch for. I mean, they're going to play Branham plays a standard 3-4 defense, and that allows the linebackers, who are going to be their big-time playmakers, to really roam the field and try to snuff out anything. But Independence has an interesting offense. They're going to go with you with a multiple and more of a what Coach Brown called a scrum type offense.
Yet Tui, 3 wide receivers, gets motion from Anderson. Will hand it off to Valenzuela. Valenzuela right up the middle. Gets to the 20-yard line. And the 76ers need 5 more yards for a first down. Don't know what kind of kicking game Independence has, but in high school football, this is generally an area of 4-down territory.
Sometimes it is, but that last run by Valenzuela, nice burst there.
Yet Tui, going to hand it off to Anderson. Anderson running behind a couple of blockers, will get the first down and gets it out to the Bruins 12. As Anderson just basically hit himself behind a couple large members of the 76ers offensive line. And that's smart football right there.
No, it really is. It really brings follow your blockers to a whole new level. He just put his hand on the back of Randy Tafua, really letting him plow the way for him, and really almost sprung him for 6.
Now the 76ers will spread it out a little bit. Motion from Valenzuela, fakes the handoff, gives to Anderson. Anderson stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Keeps his legs going and will gain a couple yards on first down.
You see on that last play, they were trying to use Valenzuela as a decoy while trying to hand off to Anderson. And Juan Diaz, number 9 there for Branham, really wasn't fooled saw where the play was going. He snuffed out the bluff really quick and got after the ball carrier. So that very nice pursuit there for Branham.
See if we get a chance or a look at Tui's arm at some point. But again, here's this scrum formation. Anderson in the backfield. Handoff goes to Valenzuela. Valenzuela behind some blockers will get inside the 10 and down to the 6-yard line where he's marked down. Sets up 3rd and 4 here. And if the 76ers are able to get a first down, they'll be right on the doorstep with 1st and goal.
And Valenzuela really showing some nice bursts so far on some of these early runs. But what's impressed me more is that he is running up the middle. He is absolutely fearless. And with his size, 5'9", 185, definitely not small by high school running back standards, but definitely not big either. So he's kind of right in that gray area there.
Ball spotted right in the center of the field at the Branham 6. Valenzuela motions from right to left. Tui fakes the handoff, going to throw, incomplete, off the hands of Kahari Vanderbilt. I'm not sure Vanderbilt would have gotten the first down even if he had caught the football.
No, but you can tell that throw was pressured early. Omar El Saroji really applying the pressure, and as Tui was trying to roll out, he was right in his face. So that really forces a 4th down, and looks like they are probably going to go for it. Tui's going back out on the field.
From the 76ers standpoint, again, we don't know their kicking abilities, but even if they don't get it on 4th down, they're going to force the Bruins to go 95 yards to try and score. Play is off, and Anderson is going to walk into the end zone. My goodness, as the Bruins bit, thinking that Valenzuela was getting the handoff, but in fact, Anderson gets it, goes off the right side and in untouched. And pending the extra point, the 76ers and Bruins will be all knotted up at 7.
And Anderson really needed this drive more than anything else. Of course, we talked about how he fumbles on the first possession, gives Branham their 7 points, and to be able to redeem himself with a touchdown to tie the game, he's got to feel a little bit better about himself now.
Always nice to get in the end zone after fumbling the football.
Absolutely.
As Deontay Davis in to attempt the extra point. Kick is up, and it is good. Right down the center there for Davis. No flags. So we are all tied at 7. And as I look down here at the Independence sideline, coaching staff really trying to fire up their sideline. Again, Independence, an A-League team. The Branham Bruins, a B-League team. They are both part of CCS.
Mm-hmm.
But A and B, one would think, the A-League team better than the B-League team. Right now, they're even at 7.
No, and it's been a pretty even game so far. You can't really attribute it to too many mistakes. Unfortunately, though, of course, Branham forcing that fumble near midfield, and they were able to take advantage of it. But really, so far, it's been a fairly back and forth game so far, and it's been actually very entertaining. Sometimes some of these preseason games, you can really tell the difference between an A-League and a B-League team. Of course, in Blossom Valley Athletic League case, Mount Hamilton and Santa Teresa division, which is what we've got here. But so far, it's been back and forth. It's been a very nicely played game so far.
Just over a minute left here in the first half. 7-7 the score after that touchdown run for the 76ers. Bruins getting the ball back as, again, they are going to target Omar El Saroji over on the left sideline. El Saroji catches it. This time goes forward with the football and gets out to his own 30-yard line. So the Bruins presumably are going to have the ball for the end of the first quarter, carry it into the second quarter, barring a turnover or a big touchdown play.
Small bit of progress there for El Saroji.
That's exactly right. I think anything after that first kickoff reception would have been a small victory for him after losing 10 yards.
Oh, sure.
Back to work goes Mitchell King and the Bruins offense. Jermani Rogers behind King. Motion from Delbertson Daniel. Handoff goes to Daniel, running to the right. Now up the middle he goes across the 35, and he's stopped at the 38-yard line. 8-yard gain on first down, though. Bruins will take that each and every time if they could have it.
Oh, and especially if the yards come that easy. I mean, you saw how Daniel just got into the second level of the defense. Really, that's what following your blockers does. If they're able to pave the way, those first 3-4 yards are always so easy. And once you get to that second level, you can really utilize your feet, utilize any moves you got, and credit the Independence defense for their pursuit on that last one. But Delbertson Daniel looking very sharp right now.
Could be the last play of the quarter here as we approach 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Daniel with motion. Handoff goes to Jermani Rogers. Rogers right up the middle across the 50 where he's taken down from behind. He does get across to the 46-yard line of the 76ers. And Independence has got to be happy that Rogers was taken down where he was, because if that lone man doesn't catch Rogers, he's gone.
Oh, he is, and that's what having a big play threat does for your offense. Of course, they motion Delbertson Daniel. You can see the defense just trying to at least keep track of him, and then that clears the path for Jermani Rogers, and both have looked very strong so far.
Does look like the Bruins are going to try and get a play off here before the end of the quarter. 3 seconds left, 2-1. They barely get it off. Hand off to Rogers. He goes off to the right and will be taken down after a 2-yard gain. And that will take us to the second quarter here at Independence High School. The score, 76ers 7, Bruins 7.
PlayOn Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
I know I'm always all over that social media, Facebook and Twitter.
Absolutely, as you should be.
And if you ever wonder where PlayOn Sports is on any given Friday or Saturday for that matter, you can always check Twitter and Facebook.
Absolutely.
Or just go to PlayOnSports.com. They got a nice big old map right there on the homepage. So here we go, start of the second quarter. Bruins now working from left to right. Mitchell King going to hand off to Jermani Rogers. Rogers right up the middle into the secondary, taken down at the 76ers 30-yard line, but I got to think that with the way Rogers is running the football, he's going to break a really big one before this night is over, Philip.
Well, he's come close a couple of times already, and you got to give credit to the Independence defense for at least not letting him break a big one. But if you're the Independence defense right now, you've got to get something going here, because Rogers is having a lot of success right now. It's not always the big runs every time. There's the 3-yard, the 4-yard gains, but they turn into something like that if you don't mind your assignments.
2 wide receivers set. Rogers in the backfield. Fake the handoff. King going to go deep down the right side, looking for Delbertson Daniel, and it is complete. 30-yard touchdown reception for the Branham Bruins, and they're up 13-7.
A well-designed play action. That's what happens when you let the running game get established. And when you have a big play guy like Delbertson Daniel, we've already been calling his name a bunch tonight, having that run game happen sets up plays like that. And a good ball thrown by Mitchell King. Of course, Daniel had to sort of turn around and get under it, but very nice heads-up play there by Delbertson Daniel.
Tyler Nall in the game as the Bruins are going to try and go for 2. And it is complete. The Bruins employing the swing gate there, and last time they did it, they just went for the normal extra point. This time, they do go for the 2-point conversion, and they get it. It's 15-7.
Pulling it out of the bag of tricks right there for the Branham Bruins, and really just an amazing turnaround here. We've already been seeing just some really interesting stuff going on here in this game right now, and I got to tell you something. I think Independence is a little stunned. We thought they would come in here with a little extra juice. When I talked to Coach Brown before the game started, this was going to be their first game on their new turf they just laid out. You can tell it's new. It's absolutely beautiful. But right now, Branham has just taken the wind out of the sails, and the Independence fans are just sitting on their hands right now. So Coach Brown has got some going to the drawing board to do right now. But I suspect, because their offense has had a lot of success so far, they're not out of this one. They can put together a nice drive here. They will be back in this one.
Jojo Valenzuela, Devon Frierson back to receive. Kick goes to Frierson. He receives. It is 5 across the 10, and across the 15. Flag goes flying as Frierson across the 20, pushed out of bounds. Looks like at about the 23 or 24-yard line. Flag was thrown in the back, and it's a hold against the 76ers, so that will push them back inside their own 20.
It seems like Independence has been a little bit more mistake-prone as of late. Of course, they have the one turnover already. They seem to be drawing the penalty flags a little bit more. Need to clean up the play a little bit, because anytime you give a lower division team like what we got here with Branham, anytime you give them just a window of opportunity, they will pounce on it. Branham's done that to them twice already.
So the 76ers now start from their own 10-yard line, as it's 10 yards back from the spot of the foul. As here they'll pitch it out to Alan Anderson. Anderson across the 15, 20, 25, 30, where he's finally wrapped up. His legs are still going, though, and he will cross the 35 out to the 37-yard line of the 76ers. So a big run there of the 27-yard variety gets the 76ers out of the shadow of their own end zone.
A little bit of back and forth of anything you can do, I can do just as well.
Tailback is Valenzuela. Kahari Vanderbilt in motion, and we get flags early again as the offensive line, very jumpy for Independence in the early going. False start.
It's got to be frustrating for Coach Brown. Here you have this great play there by Alan Anderson, and he's been absolutely fantastic so far. And then, of course, it's kind of one of those things. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Now, 5 yards is sort of a minor step when you compare Anderson's 20-some-odd-yard run. But those kinds of penalties, that just comes down to discipline. Just understanding what the quarterback's calling and getting the signals relayed. You just got to have the focus in order to do that.
Tui under center. One man out to his right. Going to hand it off to Anderson. Anderson straight up the middle. Across the 35 down at the 36. Almost gets back to the original line of scrimmage there on the 1st and 15 play. 2nd and 11 now. 15-7. Branham on top of Independence here at Independence High School. I'm Ben Taylor alongside Philip Kern. You're watching high school football on PlayOnSports.com. Tui with a little misdirection, hands off to Valenzuela, and he is away into Bruins territory. 30, 20, 10, touchdown. Talk about explosive ability. Jojo Valenzuela right there just outran every single Bruins defender.
How about a 63-yard touchdown run in response to Branham? My goodness, I mean, Valenzuela, it looked like he was not even touched, but give credit there. Valenzuela saw the hole around to the near sideline. Once he got into that second and third level of the defense, he hit the afterburners and was gone. I mean, the legs were moving, and he was just off to the races, and that Branham defense just could not catch up. That's what makes Valenzuela so special, that second gear. Very few running backs have it. He does.
So now, because the Bruins were successful on their 2-point conversion attempt after their last touchdown, forces the 76ers to go for 2 here.
I think it's a smart call here. I mean, you got to at least respond early. I mean, I could understand if you wanted to go for the extra point here, but it's the first half. You still got time, even if you don't make this one.
Tui with Vanderbilt out to his right, motion to Anderson. Anderson gets the pitch back right up the middle, in, and that's 2 points for the 76ers. We are tied at 15 here at Independence High School. 9 minutes, 44 seconds left in the first half.
It almost seemed like that 2-point conversion was a little bit too easy. But Anderson, you just sent him right up the middle, kept the legs churning, and he was just in. And it really didn't seem like the Branham defense put up much of a fight. Granted, maybe they were a little gassed from trying to chase Valenzuela. Heck, I would be too. But now we've got a whole new ball game, and now it's going to be up to Branham to respond. I mean, I can tell you this much. This game has been very entertaining already. We are just midway through the second quarter. This is exciting so far. I mean, this is why the game of football can be so exciting. Once you think the visiting team has just garnered momentum, the home team just gets it right back, and it's even more special because now the crowd is back into it.
Well, it's something we aren't really accustomed to here in the first few weeks of the high school football season. We've been seeing blowouts left and right, and
the game
at
we
least
did last
at the
week.
moment, that's exactly right. At least at this moment, this is a very entertaining game, and we can only hope it stays this way. '76ers will kick off here. Kick is off. Down the left sideline, that ball is going to roll out of bounds. Flag is thrown, as the Bruins are going to get very good field position after that kick results in a penalty. You have to like what Branham has done on the offensive end. Not only have they been able to get into the end zone, but when they've gotten into the end zone, it's taken them a while to get there. And that prevents the 76ers offense from being out on the field for a longer time, and the Bruins defense from having to defend. And it actually looks like the penalty is going to be declined by Branham, and they will make Independence re-kick.
That's a smart call by the Branham coaching staff because really the kickoffs have really been a problem for Independence. Really have not gotten much distance as far as their kicking game. So forcing them to do it again, even though it may not have affected the kickoff position very much, but at the same time, you force them to do it again, chances are you might get some better field position here. So Branham trying to play the odds a little bit here. And going back to what you were talking about with the comparisons between these two offenses, you just saw how dangerous Independence is. One play, boom, they can hit you. The 63-yard run by Valenzuela. They're more the quick strike offense, so what Branham has to do is play more of the keep-away style. That last drive, perfect example. They milked a lot of time off the clock, and they got their points. That's what they're going to have to do again at this point in order if they want to avoid Valenzuela and that quick strike, because Independence has a good running game. They will milk the clock as well.
So there is mass confusion ensuing on the field at the moment. The initial indication was that the penalty was declined. The ball was going to go back to be kicked off. Nick Gardner, the head coach for Branham, came way out onto the field and said, wait a second, I didn't want to decline that penalty. So we are back where I think we should have been, with Branham starting their series at their own 35. King going to hand it off, go right up the middle as Jermani Rogers is able to get out to the Bruins 42-yard line, 3 yards short of a first down.
Really a good solid run there by Rogers, and all these healthy gains are going to lead up to that big run. He's nearly had a couple of them already. So as he inches ever closer to that 100-yard mark already, and we're only near the first half, he's really got his momentum going right now.
King with Delbertson, Daniel out to his right. Rogers behind him. Daniel going to go in motion. Handoff goes to Rogers. Rogers looking for some space. Finds it. 50, 45, 40 where he's dragged down. And you can just, I can't see his eyes from here in the press box, but you can tell Rogers tastes that big run. And he just hasn't been able to break it quite yet. A big run still, but not the end zone run I think he was searching for there.
No, it was a touchdown-saving tackle by Valenzuela. You got to give him credit for that. But I would imagine Rogers' eyes are getting so big once he sees that open field, he's maybe start getting a little frustrated by not being able to break that big one.
Daniel now out to the left of King. King going to roll out to his left, tuck the ball down, now throw it, looking for Daniel, and it's batted down. It's like Isaac Alvarez Albo was the man to get his hand up and keep it from getting into the hands of Delbertson Daniel. Looked like a little bit of indecision there from King as he kind of half-heartedly tucked the ball down, then brought it back up. And I think he would have been better served to try and run the football because he nearly threw an interception. King with two receivers bunched. Daniel motions right to left. He will get the handoff across the 40, trying to get to the 35. We'll look where the spot is. And it looks like they're going to mark him down at the 35.5.
There you see Brian Borromeo there with the stop. And you're starting to see a little bit of that decoy coming into play, of course. Both Daniel and Rogers both have been instrumental on this Branham offense. And really, it's eventually, if Independence does not stop this running game, it's going to open things up for the play-action pass, like we saw from King to Daniel for Brandon to take that 15-7 lead. They've got to make them one-dimensional here.
Third down for the Bruins. They need the 29 for a first, and there's a big false start by Omar El-Saroji. And that one really hurts because third and a long 6 was manageable, but now it's third and a long 11 to try and get a first down.
And that penalty was a gift to the Independence defense. Now a third and 11, you essentially force Branham to throw the ball so Independence can play back a little bit, and they can give them the short yardage all they want, just as long as they don't cross that first down marker. Changes the whole strategy.
Pistol as King rolls out, going to throw down the middle right over the head of Victor Nonga, and Nonga kind of looks back at King like, where were you throwing that? I can't really blame him. The pass from King was very high, and I'm not sure if King and Nonga were not on the same page or what, but it resulted in an incomplete pass, and the Bruins will bring out their punting unit. King also serves as the punter, so there's always the possibility of a fake punt with the quarterback back there. King's punt is away. Valenzuela back to receive. Receives at his own 7. Makes one man miss across the 15. Puts his helmet down. And will be down at the turf at the 18-yard line. There is a Bruin down at the 8, which is where Valenzuela started his punt return. Don't have a number on the injured man as of yet. But appropriately, all players on the field for both teams taking a knee in deference to the injured player.
And if there was one team that was coming into this game that could ill afford an injury, it's Branham, because their roster is just so small. I mean, when I got the copy of it and it was only one page, I'm thinking to myself, okay, there were two things coming into my mind already. One, they're going to have a lot of guys playing on both sides of the ball, which is a given. For high school football, it's a very common thing. But the problem is You get somebody who's seriously injured and out for a while, that changes things. And we're not too sure as to which Brandon Bruin is injured yet. But I can tell you, if it's a key player, and we're going to figure that out as soon as we can, if it is, you have to wonder, one, how it's going to affect Branham's strategy coming in, because a lot of stuff has been working for him so far. You also got to look at the team mindset, because some of those key cogs are also real leaders, not just on the field, but in the locker room as well. And if they're down one of those guys, you're going to see just really how tough, mentally tough, this team is.
Now, I know that for those of you who have tuned into the broadcast, if you're looking at the feed right now, you probably can't see the player that is currently down. He's blocked by a light post right in the middle of our camera vision, but he is down at the right hash mark, being tended to not only by the Bruins training staff, but also all the coaches for the Bruins are out there as well. And they appear to be working on the lower right leg in the shin calf area.
If that's the case, sometimes you just hope it's perhaps a cramp, because sometimes those things happen. But when a player is down for that long, you can't help but wonder if it's more of a serious injury than it really is.
There are 7 minutes and 15 seconds left here in the first half. The Bruins and the 76ers of Independence are tied at 15.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you are enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
So the injured Bruin has gotten up, and it's Travis Mabry, number 70, who gets up hobbling. He is somewhat walking under his own power, but definitely favoring that right side.
This was a key guy that Coach Gardner was telling me we were going to be seeing a lot of. And having him, because he's not only a starting defensive end, he's a starting center. So now that changes things for that Branham offense, because the center usually makes the calls at the line of scrimmage for the coverage.
76ers start out here as Tui going to hand it off. Ball goes right up the middle. Carl Frost, the ball carrier. And he gets across the 20 out to the 23-yard line. 5-yard gain on first down.
We sort of have the earth, wind, and fire type of triumvirate of running attack here. Of course, Carl Frost, you could probably classify as earth, getting the tough yardage here right now, but Independence doing very well on the ground.
Tui with Anderson in motion, going to drop back to pass, look deep down the left side for Kahari Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt unable to haul it in.
Nearly picked off there by Delbertson Daniel. He's been all over the place on both sides of the ball. And almost really a dangerous throw, because Vanderbilt was covered by two Branham defenders. Made it seem like perhaps he telegraphed that throw a little bit.
Tui definitely overthrew Vanderbilt on that, which is why Daniel had the chance of intercepting it. Would have been over-the-shoulder kind of Willie Mays type of catch, as the 76ers going to hand off to Valenzuela, and he bounces out to the right side. This could be another big one. 30, 25, 10, end zone. My goodness. Back-to-back huge runs for Jojo Valenzuela, the 5'9" senior for the 76ers, and Independence takes their first lead of the game.
Welcome to the 100-yard club, Jojo Valenzuela. Just with those two runs right there, 140 yards rushing. And we're not even at halftime yet. So already the makings of a huge game. And there you saw it again. Going up the hole. And this is what I loved. Breaking tackles. Kept the legs moving. He was very shifty and very surprisingly powerful for a running back his size. And once he got to the open field, see you later. He was gone.
Extra point upcoming here for Deontay Davis. Nearly blocked, but it gets up and it's good. As Delbertson Daniel came around the outside and nearly got a hand on that. But it's a 7-point lead now for Independence. Thanks largely in part to JoJo Valenzuela, who at about the 40-yard line on that last run stopped dead in his tracks in the middle of the field and bolted to the right sideline. I mean, he stopped on a dime and changed directions, and for a high school defense, it's very hard to defend against a running back with that kind of athletic ability.
You know, it really is. I mean, especially when you have to stop on a dime like that, with that ability that Valenzuela has, it makes him very tough to defend. And it really emphasizes the point of sound tackling. That's what Branham's got to do. If they expect to stop him, I don't care if you're stopping from a first down or you're stopping him at the line of scrimmage. You have to have sound tackling. And Branham that last time did not have it. I mean, Valenzuela broke a couple different tackles at least. By the time he got to the open field, forget about it. So that's something that Branham's going to have to emphasize on when they make their halftime adjustments, because that's twice now they've been burned for big touchdown runs, and Coach Garner cannot be happy with that at all.
Kendall Eng and Delbertson Daniel are back to receive, as again, the 76ers bluffing an onside kick, as they have every time they've kicked off here in the first half. Flags thrown before the kick, and the indication is delay of game on Independence. So apparently the 76ers taking a little too long to kick that last one off. That's the second time here in the half that Independence has been flagged before a kickoff. First flag became before the opening kickoff.
Right, exactly. And, of course, it looks as if Independence is having success in spite of themselves right now. And with the way Branham's playing, you just can't have that. Hopefully they get that rectified.
Kick by Davis is a strong one. Picked up by Eng at his own 15. He'll cross the 20, out to the 25, and will dive across to the 30-yard line, where the Bruins will begin trailing for the first time in this one, 22-15. 76ers on top. Just about 6 minutes left in the first half here at Independence High School. Ben Taylor alongside Philip Kern on your home for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Mitchell King, back out with Jermani Rogers. Will this be the series where Rogers breaks a big one?
He's been close.
Going to try and match JoJo Valenzuela. Try to get one back here. Handoff goes to the man in motion, Delbertson Daniel. And Daniel out to the 33-yard line. That's up 2nd and 7 for the Bruins.
Really a nice early stop there by the Sixers defense. We really haven't seen that a whole lot. And Brandon's really had their way with this defense so far. And it really hasn't been the explosive runs that we've seen from Independence, but they are getting the job done. They're getting those 5-yard gains, those 6-yard gains, really making those second and third and manageables. And that's what they've got to do in order to keep these drives going.
Bruins send Daniel in motion, and as Daniel crosses in front of King, he whispers something to his quarterback. Now Daniel going to come back his way. King rolls out the other way, throws out complete for a first down, as the Bruins are able to gain 8 yards there on the 2nd and 7. Jason Evans hauls in his first pass of the game.
And there again, you see how effective the play action is when you get the running game going. And King with a nice ball out there to his intended receiver. You really saw a lot of the Independence defense sway towards Delbertson Daniel, who was the man in motion. Fake the handoff to him. You get some guys out of position. It opens up the pass. Throws it right out to the far sideline. You get another first down. That's what happens when you get those second and manageables. You can be a little more creative with your play calling.
Here on the 1st and 10, Daniel heads to the sideline. King with Rogers behind him. Gets motion from Kendall Ang as the handoff goes to Rogers. And Rogers out across the 50 down to the 48-yard line of the 76ers. Very close to a first down. We'll have to see where they do end up spotting this one. And they won't even measure. So first down for the Bruins.
Just easy yardage. There was nothing really all that fancy about that run. Rogers just plows straight ahead, gets the job done.
2 wide receivers, one to the left, one to the right of King. They'll fake the handoff to Rogers, roll out to the right, and incomplete as Juan Diaz was out there in the flat looking for the completion. Just out of the grasp of his fingertips.
And I like the diversity of the play calling there. Going back to the play action again on first down, that way they don't get predictable. But Independence really playing smart on that last play. They really snuffed out the play action. And even if Juan Diaz had caught that, he would have been brought down immediately. And that's what you want to do. Even if they catch it, don't let them get any yards after the catch. That we haven't seen a whole lot of so far. But Brandon's really hadn't needed because of the success they've had with the run game.
Daniel checks back in now. He's split out to the left. Now comes back right, gets the handoff. Daniel looking for some room, finds the outside, gets to the 45 and is dropped right then and there at the 45-yard line. Jojo Valenzuela looks like he got in on the action along with Alan Anderson.
He's been the definition of Iron Man so far. We've already called his name twice on big touchdown runs, but him playing defensive back as well. He's been in on a couple of key stops, and now this is a big third down for Independence. This really could be a deciding factor in which way the momentum goes because this has been a back-and-forth game, and really a huge third down for both teams, but I think Independence's defense needs a little more because Branham has been very, very impressive so far.
Just a 7-point game. Bruins could really use a first down here. They'll get motion from Kendall Ang. King drops back to pass, throws down the middle. Delbertson Daniel right there, makes the catch, misses a tackle, and gets down to the 20-yard line. And every time Mitchell King needs somebody to throw the ball to, Delbertson Daniel is right there.
No, and Daniel's been utilized in a bunch of different ways. Receiver, running back, really been utilized on those misdirections. Again, that's where the play action comes in. And Branham's utilizing it very, very well. And Alan Anderson nearly getting burned on that one. We were talking about how Branham needed to focus on sound tackling if they wanted to bring down Valenzuela. Alan Anderson didn't exactly wrap up Delbertson Daniel that first time around, and the second effort really saved a touchdown.
We're inside of 3 minutes here in the first half. Bruins looking for a game-tying touchdown as King will hand off to Rogers on the draw play, and Rogers just has to work to get back to the line of scrimmage, as it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 76ers' 20-yard line. Now, Branham does have all of their timeouts to use. Pardon me, they have 2 timeouts to use. Independence has all 3 of theirs. So the clock not necessarily an issue with all those timeouts left up on the scoreboard. 4 wide receiver set now for the Bruins as we're inside of 2 minutes. King rolls out to his left, looks out in the flat, and that pass is complete over on the left sideline. Jason Evans again, as it'll be 1st and goal inside the 10 for the Branham Bruins.
Methodically moving the ball down the field. This is exactly what they needed to do. And if you're Independence right now, with the way this clock is going, and of course about 1:45 and counting, I don't know. I'm not sure why they don't call a timeout right now, because you would think you'd want to give your team at least one more chance at the ball before halftime.
Well, especially with what JoJo Valenzuela has been able to do on basic running plays.
Exactly.
We'll see if the strategy changes in the next few seconds. King rolls out to his right, evades some tacklers, spinning down to the 5-yard line. As we roll down to a minute left now here in the first half.
Really some nice improvisational skills by Mitchell King. Really had to avoid the pressure there from the Independence defense. But really, Branham has looked very solid in all phases of the game. It seems like they're opening the playbook now, and it's really been to their benefit because now they've gotten that run game established. Now Independence is not sure which way they're going to go. It's really allowed Mitchell King to really get a little more creative.
Bruins not acting with any kind of urgency here, as in to take the snap was number 18, Tyreek Gloston. Gloston fumbled the football, and it was picked up by Rogers, thankfully for the Bruins, and Rogers just basically falls forward. An immediate timeout called by Branham with 24 seconds left in the half.
Not too sure what Coach Gardner was going for with throwing in the backup quarterback there to take the snap. But really, that almost ended in disaster. Really would have wiped out all that great work that Branham has done on this drive. I mean, this is exactly the kind of drive they needed. Something to milk the clock, tire out the Independence defense. They've been doing that, but not too sure what they were getting at. Maybe they thought that they'd force Independence to go into a defensive audible there. But really, when you have a drive like that, you really got to go with what got you there. And I have to say, for this drive, as much as we've talked about Jermani Rogers, and he's been impressive, Mitchell King has been the pivotal force on this drive because they've really allowed him to stretch the field a little bit. And that's opened things up. I mean, you saw the play action, the big pass to Delbertson Daniel, which really was a big thing to get them in the red zone. And really, that's been sort of the pinnacle of what's been going on here with this Bruins offense.
And out of the timeout, King is back under center. Looked for a moment there like Golston was in. But it's 3rd and goal from the 6 for Branham. As Daniel in motion, King rolls back and is going to be sacked at the 15-yard line. And a timeout from Branham with 15 seconds remaining. And we have a down 76er. Was Alan Anderson, who was writhing on the ground for a few moments. But he appears to be okay and jogging off as Branham uses their final timeout. It's now 4th and goal from the 15. And decision time for Nick Gardner. This would be a 31, 32-yard field goal, which in college or the NFL would be an easy choice. Just give me the points and get me into the locker room. But in high school, it's not as easy of a decision.
But I think Coach Gardner still has to go for the points at least because you've gotten this far, and if he were to call a 4th down, go for it play, and it doesn't get anywhere, they don't get any points, it ends up even being worse. So the field goal is worth a try.
Tyler Nall in to attempt the kick. It is up, and it is good. Sneaks in, as the kick probably would have been good from 35, but not much more than that. But Branham gets on the board, and it's a 22-18 ball game with 12 seconds left in the half. Now, of course, Independence does have 3 timeouts left, but with 12 seconds, they'd be hard-pressed to get 3 timeouts in. I think their best case scenario is to receive the kickoff and give JoJo Valenzuela one last shot here in the first half to break something big. Otherwise, you take the 4-point lead into the locker room, talk to the team at halftime, and Independence will receive to start the second half.
And that's something that they got going for them, and that's really why Branham had to go for the points right when they did, because they have to kick off in the second half. So really what it's going to come down to is, at this point, it's going to be somewhat inconsequential with it being 12 seconds left, unless we get a big play here towards the end. But both teams really have something positive they can take in. For Independence, the offenses were working, but they got to talk about the defense. For Branham, if you're Coach Gardner, you got to be happy with where your team's at right now.
Tyler Naw with a pooch kick picked up by Frierson on the left side across the 20, 25 down at the 30-yard line. And Independence, with 7 seconds remaining, is going to have time for pretty much one play.
Well, if you wanted to get creative, you could try and test the arm of your quarterback here. Tui, just kind of see, just let him have him at it, and let's see how far he can throw it. But not too sure what to go with. I mean, me personally, that's what I would go for, just to kind of see what you would get. But knowing as little as we do about Tui's arm strength, we'll see what they call here.
And it is going to be the bunched at the line formation that we've seen here in the first half. Pitch goes to Alan Anderson. Anderson right up the middle. Going to be wrapped up at the 50-yard line. Flag goes flying. The clock shows 0. But we have to wait and see what this flag is.
If it's on Branham, we could have a chance for one untimed down as well. And it's not. It's against Independence.
The penalty was called against the 76ers. And so that brings us to halftime as the penalty was declined by Branham. So the score, 22-18, the Independence 76ers leading the Branham Bruins. We'll be back in a few moments with the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Don't go anywhere. It's Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're going to come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're going to come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're going to come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're going to come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you. One shot.
one match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
Welcome to the PlayOnSports.com halftime show, coming to you from Independence High School in San Jose, California. I'm Ben Taylor alongside Philip Kern. Our halftime score is the Independence 76ers 22 and the Branham Bruins 18. Philip, very, very entertaining first half. Had a couple of big plays from JoJo Valenzuela. The Branham Bruins, who I don't think many expected to contend in this game, are right there, just 4 points behind going into the second half.
No, they really played very well coming into halftime. Of course, you were talking about JoJo Valenzuela, 140 yards combined just on his two big touchdown runs, but got to give credit to the Branham defense. They've been putting together these very long, methodical drives, and that's really what they need to do because they need to keep the ball out of the Independent Sixers' hands because we've seen how dangerous their quick strike offense is. And really with the Bruins, what they have done is ever since the first couple of drives, they've now sort of taken the reins off of Mitchell King. Now they've allowed him to really get creative with the ball. He's really made some nice throws. I mean, he's really starting to come along. I've been very impressed with his quarterback play. He's been very decisive. He's made quick decisions. He's made a couple throws that kind of make me go, that was a little not quite what we had wanted. But his play has been impressive. And, of course, Jermani Rogers has been what we expected. But Delbertson Daniel has been the X factor for them. He's been their big play guy. And what Independence has to do, they just have to sort of do their best to try to get everybody accounted for because really, this is something I've seen on both sides. Both sides need to tackle better. And that's really been the key because that's how those big plays get developed. You don't have the sound tackling, those kinds of things happen.
If you're the Bruins in the second half, you're kicking off to the 76ers, who are going to start with the ball first. You're Branham. How are you going to stop JoJo Valenzuela in the second half from breaking another 60, 70-yard touchdown run?
You got to disrupt the line of scrimmage. You have to make sure that you can send up more defenders than they have blockers for. Now, that's going to be a risk, but with the way Valenzuela has burned them twice, it's not just getting him to disrupt the line of scrimmage because he's shifty. He can break tackles. That's never been a big problem for him. So when you get him, drag him into the ground. Make sure you've got a solid handle on him because, especially with that 77-yard run we saw, they've got to make sure they wrap up and drive because when they don't do that, you allow him to move his feet and he can stop on a dime as we plainly see. From that point on, all bets are off. Once he's in the open field, forget it. He's gone. So keep him in front of you. When you got him, make sure you drag him down. And really, you've got to make sure that you kind of make him one-dimensional. They haven't forced the Independence quarterback, Tuya Tui, to really do a whole lot. But they got to start putting the ball in his hands because if he can just hand it off to Valenzuela and Anderson all day, that's their key to victory.
Score here at halftime, the Independent 76ers 22, the Branham Bruins 18. That's going to do it for the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. On the other side, Friday Night Football will return right here on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching PlayOnSports.com's presentation of Friday Night Football live from San Jose, California. I'm Ben Taylor with Philip Kern. The Independence High School 76ers lead the Branham Bruins 22-18. As we get ready to start the second half of action, Independence will be receiving. Bruins kicking off with the football moving from right to left. As out of the locker rooms, Independence coaching staff having a brief conversation with the referees. Not sure if it was substantive or whether or not it was just, where are you going to eat after this one?
I was about to say, maybe they're exchanging dinner plans. Who knows? There are some fine establishments here in the East San Jose area.
That's exactly right. Not too far away, downtown San Jose, with lots of good options as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And what would be your favorite downtown San Jose establishment? Never going to ask you that, but I figure since we're on the subject, we might as well talk about it.
Amici's East Coast Pizzeria is pretty darn good
Down
by the Shark Tank.
The arena. Yeah, it is very good.
Shark Tank, very good.
High quality stuff.
La Vic's Mexican is also very good as well.
It's not bad.
We're just about set for action here. Branham kicking off. Jojo Valenzuela going to receive at his own 15, cross the 20, 25, kicks it into gear, 35, 40, 45, across the 50 he goes. 35, 25, 15, 10, end zone. Jojo Valenzuela. The Bruins have no answer. Touchdown, 76ers. Huge run to start the second half. 85 yards for Jojo Valenzuela. And I was wondering when Valenzuela was going to get a chance to receive a kickoff because he didn't receive any kickoffs in the first half. The Bruins kicked it away from him, and right there you learned exactly why.
Yeah, that's a hard lesson to learn at that point. But, again, there's the quick strikes we've been talking about. And the offense didn't even need to take the field. Jojo Valenzuela, again, showcasing that unbelievable speed. And it's really been a bane to Branham's existence tonight. I mean, really just no answer for it. And just unbelievable vision there by Valenzuela to take it to the house.
The extra point kick is up and good. And one piece of interest that we do want to correct. During halftime, we learned Emmanuel Obasohan was the man actually kicking and wearing number 7 on the roster. Deontay Davis was listed at number 7, but in fact it's Obasohan who's been doing the kickoffs and kicking off. So did want to say that from the outset here in the second half, but fireworks to start this second half as we are exactly 20 seconds into the second half of action, and we already have a touchdown.
Wow.
So the Branham Bruins have to shake that off and come back out on the field with their offense, try to answer. And I'm sure right now, on the Branham sideline, coaching staff trying to scheme a way to slow down Jojo Valenzuela, which I'm sure at the very least is going to consist of not kicking him the football
right
anymore.
Very sound strategy there. I mean, but I mean, at the very least, an offense are going to give him the ball. And a kick return, you can at least control that a little bit. Unfortunately, sometimes it only takes that one time to learn a hard lesson like that. But Valenzuela's going to get his touches, but that one, they won't kick it to him again. No way.
Obasohan with the kick. It's a good one. Received back at the 10-yard line by Kendall Ang. Ang across the 20, 25, and he'll be tackled down. Spotted at the 27-yard line. And here, the Branham Bruins are going to try to come out, have a sustained drive that ends up in the end zone because down 29-18, field goal doesn't do you a whole heck of a lot of good.
No, it really doesn't.
Especially with the way Jojo Valenzuela is playing.
Right.
So Mitchell King will fake the handoff to Rogers and then dump it off to Rogers, and he's stopped at the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard back. Sets up 2nd and 10. Looks like they just mark him down right there at the 27-yard line.
And that Independence defense really playing on their toes so far. They never really, Branham never really got that screen play developed. And I could see what they were doing, trying to get their best playmaker, Jermani Rogers, out in open space, just to try to get him going. But Independence just was all over that one.
3 wide receivers to the right of King. Rogers in the backfield. Rogers will get the handoff, go right up the middle across the 30, stumble down and get to the 35. As he was tripped up there at about the 31. But as he was falling to the turf, put his left hand down to kind of prop himself up and gain a couple extra yards before hitting the grass.
His vision has just been impressive. I mean, a lot of his solid gains have been on the straight-ahead runs. Nothing really fancy, but he just powers his way through. He's really been the driving force to keep these Branham Bruins possessions alive.
4 wide receiver set for the Bruins here as they really spread out. They're going to send Daniels in motion, handoff to Rogers. Rogers trying to go right up the middle, and I don't think he got the first down. We'll see where they mark it. The referee on the far sideline, who was standing right at the first down marker, looked like he might have spotted at the first down, but it will be a yard, maybe 2 short. But they will bring out the measuring sticks. Right now, from our vantage point, which is at about the 43-yard line of the Bruins, it looks like the ball is spotted right at the first down marker. But the chain gang comes out, and it will be a first down right at the nose of the football.
Wow.
And Bruins have got to be happy about that one.
If they had not gotten that first down, it would have been a very interesting 4th and short, because you're at that part of the field where if you didn't convert, you'd give Independence prime field position. But thankfully, they won't have to worry about it. I'm not sure if maybe there's a little bit of a generous spot there, but Rogers, once again, fighting for those yards. It pays off there.
King takes the snap, will hand it off to Daniels, and Delbertson Daniel out to the 40-yard line. A 3, maybe 4-yard gain there on first down, as the first down marker is at the 47-yard line. Ball marked just short of the 41. Motion for the Bruins. Handoff goes to Rogers, and Rogers is stuffed, keeps his legs going, and will gain a yard. Sets up 3rd and long for the Bruins.
It appears that Branham, it looks like they're starting to get a little predictable with their play calling. This is sometimes one of those traps you fall into when you've got playmakers like Jermani Rogers. You really want to put the ball in the hands of the guys who can make stuff happen for you. But we haven't seen much of Delbertson Daniel so far. We haven't seen much of Jason Evans. And they've really been contributing factors so far into this point. But they got to start mixing up the play calling here a little.
Right now, Daniel and Evans split out to the left. King rolls that way. Design quarterback draw as he goes right up the middle and is tackled down short of the 45. Again, that first down marker is at the 47. And one would have to assume that this will be a punt forthcoming for the Bruins. But again, King is the punter. Leaves open that opportunity for a fake punt, and the ever so dangerous JoJo Valenzuela back to receive for the 76ers. Valenzuela setting up just inside his own 30. As the kick from King, a pretty good one. Valenzuela receives it as 25, breaks some tackles, breaks some more across the 40, 50, inside his own 45, 30, 25, 15, 10. Can you believe it? He's done it again. There is a flag back at the 30-yard line of the 76ers, so this entire thing could be coming back. But JoJo Valenzuela, are you kidding me?
You might as well just kick it out of bounds if he's back there. I mean, don't even risk it anymore. I mean, he's just been absolutely an absolutely epic display of speed, and it looks like not only is there a flag down, but we also have a Sixer down in the end zone as well. Not sure if that's maybe Valenzuela or not.
Looks like Valenzuela is walking here in midfield.
Oh, okay.
It does look like they've called the touchdown back. But now that I take a better look at the numbers, that's not number 20, it's number 22 for the 76ers. So it could be JoJo Valenzuela who's being stretched out down in the end zone after that run.
And you just hope it's a cramp because he has just been so electric tonight for the Sixers, both returning kicks and running the football. And really, any amount of time that he's going to be out for this one, whether it's serious or not, is going to be a big problem for him.
So as I mentioned, the touchdown run called back as the result of a holding penalty on the 76ers. So they'll start from their own 20, try a running play from the quarterback, Tui. And Tui gets maybe a yard. Now, the 76ers, despite the absence of Valenzuela, do have a very strong running back in Alan Anderson, who they can go to. But the Bruins need to take advantage of this, as here the pitch will go to Anderson. He has some running room across the 25. He'll be dropped short of the 30-yard line.
And this has been a problem for Branham. It's not so much that they're giving up yards. It's that they're giving up easy yards. And Anderson wasn't even really touched on that outside run until he got to about 6-7 yards down the field. And this is where Branham really has to start trying to crowd that line of scrimmage, because whether it's been Valenzuela or whether it's been Anderson, they've just been absolutely manhandled at the line of scrimmage. They really can't get a hand on these guys until about 6-7 yards up.
Big play for the Bruins, too, if they can force a 3-and-out without Valenzuela on the field. Handoff will go right up the middle, fumble the football, and it looks like initially that a 76er fell on top of it, as the ball carrier was Carl Frost. That would have been the second turnover of the game for Frost. But instead it's a fumble and a first down as he fumbled the ball about 5 yards forward.
A very fortunate bounce there, because there were at least 2 or 3 Bruins defenders that were just around in that general area. And really, it's starting to be a bit of an interesting scenario, because Frost is a guy that usually gets in those tough short yardage situations. So he's got to secure the football if he wants to keep that.
As Tui will take the snap. Handoff goes to Frost again, and Frost across the 45-yard line, going to be dragged down very close to a first down, but flags were thrown right at the snap. And again, I think it was movement on the 76er offensive line. And I'm sure with the number of false start penalties that have occurred in this game for the 76ers, Norm Brown, head coach, not going to be so happy. It was, in fact, illegal motion.
Right.
But still, pre-snap penalties are never a friend of the head coaches.
No.
Handoff goes to Frost. Frost has running room as he gets across the 50, down to the 40-yard line of the Bruins as Carl Frost there just looked like he was shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, it was just easy yards. Again, what we were talking about, like with the outside carry to Anderson, and now this inside carry to Frost, it doesn't really matter. This Independence offensive line is just pushing this Bruins defense back. That front seven is just absolutely helpless.
Handoff for the 76ers goes to the big man, number 57, Maurice Ross, who's listed on the roster as an offensive lineman and also a defensive lineman, 5'11", 220 pounds. That's a large individual.
That's a big boy. And as we're looking at down the sideline, it looks like Valenzuela is
walking.
Yes, that's a good sign.
But he has his helmet off as the 76ers will try a pitch back to Anthony Reclusado. And Reclusado across the 30 for a first down. And you can sense that the Branham defense, even though JoJo Valenzuela isn't in there, has been worn down by Valenzuela and the rest of the 76er running attack here tonight.
Oh, they have. And it's at this point, it doesn't really matter who's carrying the ball. This running attack has just been a well-oiled machine. And this offensive line, they've had their moments where they've been shaky, but they've been very impressive.
As the handoff again will go to Maurice Ross. And Ross right up the middle, down to the Bruins 24. The 19-yard line is where the first down marker is, but with the way the 76ers are moving the football, the important marker for those keeping track at home would be the end zone.
Oh, yes. and they're moving right towards it. It doesn't matter who they're plugging in at running back, they're getting the yardage.
Again, they'll hand the ball off to Reclusado. Reclusado up the middle, bounces to the outside, into the end zone. I'm telling you, this running attack from the 76ers is really impressive.
However, it's going to get, we have a penalty flag. Not sure if it's getting called back or not.
It is in the area of where a holding penalty could be called, and this would be the second time in about 3 minutes that the 76ers have had a touchdown called back. And it does appear that it is against Independence. And it is holding. We're inside of 4 minutes here in the third quarter. 29-18. 76ers on top of the Bruins.
If you're the Sixers coaching staff right now, you about want to pull your hair out. Like you said, that's 2 touchdowns now called back by penalties. You just robbed yourself of at least 12 points right there. Very, very frustrating.
Sixers going to mix it up again as they pitch back to Frost, and Frost fumbles the football for the third time here tonight. And a big scrum for it on the turf, and the referee comes up, and the indication is it's gone to the Bruins.
This is where the mental mistakes play such a role. Now you see what's happened here. The extra snaps there. Not only do you lose 6 points off the scoreboard, now you lose possession of the football. Branham's just been gifted with an extra possession. They probably should have gone off a kickoff, and now everything has just changed in this whole scenario. And if you're Coach Norm Brown, you only have to wonder what if. The mental mistakes have been holding Independence back. They should have at least 35, 36 points by now. But because of the mental mistakes, that's now created the turnovers. That's the second turnover they've had today. Of course, one by Anderson in the first half. Now you got this one. If Branham capitalizes on this, we've got a whole different ballgame here, because had they gone into the end zone, they could hit cruise control. Now they can't anymore. And their defense has not exactly been solid in holding Branham back.
Mitchell King in the Bruins offense out there again. He throws right up the seam to a wide open Victor Nonga. Nonga breaking tackles, and he's free down inside the 30 to the 25-yard line. Goes Nonga for the Bruins. And it appears Independence has an injured player down at their 25.
Really, Branham not wasting any time, just going right for the jugular there with that pass. I mean, very well placed ball by Mitchell King. And, of course, we're trying to figure out who the injured Sixer is. And, of course, Independence's defense, they've had a lot of struggles.
And there is a flag that came in at the end of the play there, as there was a sign from the referee that was a face mask against Independence. We don't know who the injured 76er is, but they are stretching him out as if it is just a cramp.
Seems like we had a lot of those tonight.
Very much so, and it's not like it's an abnormally hot evening.
No.
It's a very moderate, slight breeze. Nice evening in the South Bay.
Yeah, I haven't even needed my jacket tonight. And from the looks of it, from what we were trying to figure out, it might have been Christian Racey, but we're going to try and figure that out here pretty soon. And yes, it is. PlayOn Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
So as you were saying, Philip, it was Christian Racey who had that cramp, it appears, and he jogged off under his own power. The ball is at the 76er 18 after that face mask penalty that's tacked on to the end of the play. King drops back to pass, looking up the middle. Nongo wide open for the touchdown.
Somebody blew a coverage there. But I'll tell you what, Mitchell King having the presence of mind to get the throw off even as he was getting hit. Very, very nicely done. And again, Branham's starting to open up the playbook a little bit. And you're starting to see some of the weaknesses in this Independence defense. That secondary has been a bit of a problem. And I think Branham has started to figure that out, and they're attacking it. And that's been huge, especially now that they've been able to get a running game going.
Tyler Nall in to attempt the extra point. As the kick here, up and good. The Branham Bruins right back in this thing after the touchdown pass. It's 29-25. And if you're Independent, you got to be careful, because on your last series, you had a kickoff, or punt return, pardon me, return for a touchdown that was called back because of a penalty, and another 30-yard run that ended up in the end zone that was called back because of a penalty, and then you turn the football over. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You've let the Bruins back into this game.
No, you really have, and it really all comes down to the mental mistakes, because you take those away. Branham, the only reason they're in this game right now is because of the points off turnovers. They've got 14 of them right now. You take those away, and you probably add on maybe one of the touchdowns that got called back by a penalty. This game's not even close. But you have to give credit to Branham. They've been gifted extra opportunities, and they've taken advantage of it. Now what Independence has to do is to make sure, number one, hold on to the football. Number two, they've got to get a lid on these penalties. I've counted at least 7 or 8 they've been flagged for. And if you're Coach Norm Brown, you've got to get a handle on this.
Nall again going to kick off. Picked up by Frierson over near the sideline. He'll come up the right sideline and be pushed out of bounds at the 37 or 38. And it looks like there might have been a late hit on Frierson after he stepped out as flags go flying.
I mean, Branham getting a little too exuberant, but I don't really blame him, because they've got a little extra juice in their step. Now they know that they've gotten back into this game, so now it's going to be on their defense, which really hasn't been helping matters much. And now, of course, we see Valenzuela back on the field now. It's good to see that he's okay. So now they got to really figure out how to stop this Independence running attack, because as we saw in that last drive, even though it ended with that turnover, they were gaining 7, 8, sometimes even 10 yards on chunks at a time before Branham even gets a hand on them. So they got to figure out how to break these blocking schemes. It really comes down to how they play in the trenches, because Independence is just overpowering them.
2.5 minutes left here in the third quarter. It's 29-25. Independence on top. After the penalty, the 76ers start in Bruins territory. JoJo Valenzuela out to the left will cross the 40 down to the Bruins 38. 6-yard gain on first down, sets up 2nd and 4.
And Valenzuela, good to see him back sort of in full motion, and really easy yards, at least 5, 6 before he even got touched. And you're looking at a 2nd and manageable again. And for Independence, unlike Branham, it really hasn't mattered because they've had the big play in their favor. Now, Branham has had a couple nice big plays in that last drive, but Independence still grinding away those yards.
Independence going to send Anderson in motion. He gets the pitch back and will drive right up the middle across the 30. Almost down to the 25. Stopped at the 27-yard line. And the running attack has been so successful for the Sixers here tonight that there's really been no reason for them to try and air it out with Tui. Tui takes the snap, hands to Valenzuela, back to Anderson. Anderson down inside the 15-yard line. Bit of trickery there for Independence.
I think by the end of this one, we could see at least 200-yard rushers by the end of the night. I mean, Anderson has been very, very solid. Hasn't quite broken the big plays like Valenzuela has, but very, very solid outing for him.
And Anderson set in motion as they'll fake the pitch back and drive right forward to the 11-yard line. They need the Bruins 5 for a first down, as the ball carrier there was Carl Frost.
He needs a couple of those carries just to get his confidence back up. Yes, absolutely.
This time it's Valenzuela in a little bit of motion. He gets the pitch. Running to the left, inside the 10. 5, dives for the pylon. Does he get it? No indication yet from the referees. And it looks like they're going to mark him out of bounds at just inside the 2. So it'll be 1st and goal.
That open field juke that he just exhibited on that last run, I think he's fine. After going off the field for a brief moment with that cramp, it looks like he's got his legs back under him. And you can even see on the juke, the linebacker went exactly the way he wanted and then went across.
Here, the 76ers line up for the snap and movement on the offensive line. Norm Brown has just about got to be ready to throw his headset across the field with the number of unforced errors his team has made. They're still winning by 4, but it should be at least 10 or 11. In the best case scenario, 17 or 18, at least.
And I can tell you this much. Before league play starts, I can guarantee you Coach Brown is going to be addressing this issue because they're getting away with it right now against Branham, but they won't get away with it once league play starts.
Pitch goes to Anderson, and Anderson stopped at about the 2. Makes it 2nd and goal.
It's really going to be an interesting call here because, again, we haven't seen much of Tui so far at that quarterbacking position, but they really haven't needed to showcase him much.
Pitch goes to Valenzuela. Valenzuela right behind the offensive line goes into the end zone. And there's the touchdown the 76ers have been looking for as they finally put 6 up. I don't see any yellow flags.
Not this time,
so it
anyway.
appears as though this one is going to count. There's 14 seconds left in this third quarter as Emmanuel Obasohan will come in to attempt the extra point. Here are the 76ers here. No need to try anything other than a normal extra point. The kick is up, and it is right down the middle. So the Sixers now up by 11 once again at 36-25 after the 3-yard touchdown run for Valenzuela.
Fourth touchdown of the game. Third rushing, of course, the one with the kick return. My goodness, I mean, he's been the star tonight. And even with him being out for a little bit, we got to see a little bit of how deep this running attack is for Independence. And just being able to grind it out like they have. And it's not even just been the 5-6 yard gains all the time. They've broken the big plays. And if you're Branham, that's got to give you cause for concern because your offense is keeping you in this game. They've capitalized on a couple of turnovers. They've really done their job. Now it's up to the defense to do it, and they've been letting them down right now.
Well, and that's a problem you run into with a roster the size of Branham's.
Right.
Where you have so many players that are forced to play on both sides of the football. You just get tired by the time the late third, fourth quarters roll around. So we're awaiting the kick here after the touchdown and extra point. 14 seconds left, and there's a flag before the kick. I do believe Independence is going to be called for delay of game.
Well, either that or we did see when the Independence players crossed the kick line before the ball was even kicked. That was Kenneth Santos right there. So another pre-snap penalty. I mean, the mental mistakes are just piling up right now.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the talent of JoJo Valenzuela, Independence would be in trouble right now.
They would. They really would be. And again, it's really all about the mental mistakes. And they're getting away with it right now. But like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, once Mount Hamilton division play starts and they have to go up against the Oak Groves and the Pioneers and the Lelands of the Blossom Valley Athletic League, they're not going to let them get away with it as much.
Squib kick by Oba Sohan. Bruins fall on top of it, and they will start at their own 48-yard line. Not sure I completely understand the strategy there.
I'm kind of shaking my head over that one. I mean, you're essentially giving Branham great field position, and their offense has not been the problem. It really hasn't. I mean, I could see the surprise factor, if you wanted to call it that, to try to sneak an extra possession in, but special teams hasn't really been the issue for Branham. It's been their defense. So you would think just at least force them into a 3-and-out and get their defense back on the field. But we'll see how that plays out.
Germani Rogers going to receive the handoff here on first down, cross the 50, and make his way over to the other 48-yard line. 4-yard gain on first down.
Just a tough runner. I mean, he has been working very, very hard tonight, and I would bet he's around 100 yards rushing tonight, and just an incredible performance, really, by this whole Bruins offense. I mean, we weren't really too sure what to expect with everything, but as the third quarter comes to a close, we've got ourselves a game here.
We certainly do. Fourth quarter will start with the Independence 76ers on top 36-25 over the Branham Bruins. Great game going on here in San Jose. Stay tuned here. Fourth quarter coming up.
PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championships events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.
Do want to remind people to stay tuned for our post-game show, even after the fourth quarter has concluded. Come back with our player of the game. Lots of options for Independence, but this game is far from being in the books. Branham makes some kind of comeback. Sure, we will have a very deserving player of the game for them as well. So, a lot to decide here. Just an 11-point game. As King going to roll out to the right to start the fourth quarter. Throw out incomplete. Intended receiver was Jason Evans, who tried to dive and make the catch. Throw from Mitchell King was a little short, and in the end, Evans could not bail him out with the diving catch. Sets up third down from the 76ers' 48-yard line. They need the 42 for a new set of downs.
And that rollout again, I mean, Mitchell King has been utilizing that very, very effectively. But it seemed as though that the way that pass was going, it was almost as if Kendall Eng thought the pass was going to him, much to our surprise when we see Jason Evans dive out there for the pass. It was a good effort there. But, of course, unfortunately, short hops don't really count all that much.
Eng split out to the far right of the quarterback, Mitchell King. They'll send Delbertson Daniel in motion. Throw goes up the middle to an open Omar El Saroji. El Saroji breaks a tackle, gets inside the 20 to the 15, and there's a flag that goes flying, and it lands at the 20. Again, that flag was thrown by the referee stationed, I would say, at the sideline at the 30. That'll be a penalty on the Bruins.
Looks like a block in the back, I think.
That was the indication. And that would hurt.
But it depends where they flag it. If they flagged it after the first down, it really won't hurt as much because at least they'll get that recycled set of downs. But we're going to see how they handle this one. But, again, really a nice connection there. And Mitchell King has been very, very impressive today.
So it does look like it was a penalty. The block in the back occurred after the first down, and it allowed El Saroji to gain those extra 5 to 10 yards. So instead of the ball being marked inside the 20, it's marked at the 30-yard line. There's a brief delay here as there is a downed Sixer at the 10-yard line. We've seen more injuries in this game, Philip, than in any of the previous broadcasts we've had.
Really, and what's really hilarious, well, I shouldn't say hilarious, it's been sort of one of those things where it makes you wonder. I mean, a lot of these has been cramp-related. And like you said, this is not really an abnormally warm night. I mean, it's what you would expect for a late summer, early fall type of evening. I mean, it's what you'd expect. It's a great night for football. But it's unfortunate because a lot of these injuries, it's not just the players that suffer for it. I mean, the game suffers for it because we've had a game really tonight that's been going along at a nice clip. It really has been. And anytime you get these kinds of situations happening, it really is unfortunate. I mean, thankfully, it looks like from what we're seeing, it's just another cramp-related thing. So we think he'll be okay after walking it off a little bit. But it really does mess with the momentum of the game. But if you're Branham, you're kind of thankful for the break just because the size of your roster, a lot of your guys are playing both sides of the ball. So really having to put it all together and just having that sort of reprieve, if you will, it really is beneficial, especially for the guys who play defense. But going back to that last play that we had just seen as the Independence guy gets up and is okay, that looks like it's Isaac Alvarez-Alba who'll be helped off the field. Branham has found a weakness in this Independence defense. It's that secondary. And you see them exploiting it. And that's what's keeping them in this game. And especially over the middle of the field where the safeties usually roam. And if I'm the Branham play callers, I keep attacking until they figure it out.
So back underway now. Mitchell King with a 1st and 10. Will send Delbertson Daniel in motion. King takes the snap, going to throw out to Daniel. Daniel hit behind the line of scrimmage, going to reverse course, go back to the left, up the middle, and gain positive yards out of that.
once again, you're seeing broken tackles in the backfield. And Alan Anderson right there just did not wrap him up. And he had him for a loss. If he had just wrapped him up and dragged him down, it would have been at least a 2nd and 12 or so. But give credit to Delberts and Daniel, who really shed the tackler and at least made something out of nothing.
We work towards 10 minutes left here in the fourth quarter at Independence High School. Branham trailing the Independence 76ers 36-25 as Mitchell King going to hand it off to his running back, Jermani Rogers. And Rogers out to the left now runs back up the middle and will be knocked down a yard short of the first down. Sets up a big third down play for the Bruins.
And while I've been a fan of the Bruins' methodical drives tonight, you really have to look at it and say you're getting to the point now when you need a big play to happen. They've been on the cusp of a couple of them, but they need one to just bust through right now.
3 wide receiver set. King hands it off to Rogers, and he is clobbered right at the line of scrimmage, fumbled the football, and Independence recovers. I mean, that handoff and the hit occurred at nearly the exact same time, and it was one heck of a hit put on by Carl Frost, who came flying up the middle and nailed Jermani Rogers, and Rogers had no shot. Turnover, first one of the game for the Bruins.
And an ill-timed one at that.
And Independence will have a chance here, but flags are thrown before the snap. And it's going to be a false start on the Sixers. And I hate to say it, but the Sixers are working towards 100 yards worth of penalties in this game.
They're inching ever closer, but it's as if they're making their own job that much more difficult.
Pitch goes to JoJo Valenzuela on 1st and 15. He bounces out, across the 30, 35, and tries to switch back, but he is wrapped up at the 37-yard line. That's just an easy 17-yard run for JoJo Valenzuela. Makes everybody forget about that false start on the first down.
Even if it was 17 yards, he made it look very entertaining. I mean, just all the shiftiness of of all his moves right there. I mean, we knew he could stop on a dime, but he could break some ankles right there, and he very nearly did.
Hand off to Frost on the new set of downs, and he gets out to the 43-yard line. 6-yard gain on first down. So that last fumble really hurts for Branham as they were on the doorstep looking to make this a one-score game. But now the Sixers have a chance to really put this game in their hands as Anderson now at the handoff. He crosses the 50 down inside the Bruins 45 where he is finally tackled. And although it's not official yet, because we don't have stats in front of us, I think it's pretty safe to say Alan Anderson has hit the century mark in this game.
Oh, I really think he has, and he's done it in a methodical way. It hasn't really been with the electric runs like Valenzuela has provided us tonight. I think just those two combined, if you can have two running backs that get you over 300 yards rushing, you're having a nice day on the ground.
Any football team would take that at any level.
Absolutely.
Tui takes the snap, going to hand off to Frost. And Frost down to the 40-yard line. As now there's really no reason for the Sixers to try and throw the football. The quarterback, yet Tui, appears to be limping just a little bit as he jogged towards the sideline. I'm not sure if that was just his natural gait or not. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Frost set up directly behind Tui. Valenzuela goes in motion. He gets the pitch back, goes to the outside, inside the 35, 30, breaks a tackle and spins down inside the 25. Jojo Valenzuela just can't be stopped.
No, he really can't. And no, I know we've been addressing some of the tackling problems on both sides. It really has been a problem for both of them. But there are some times you just have to admire the talent of the ball carrier, and that's the case with Jojo Valenzuela. Just whether he's shifting or spinning or just running straight through somebody, they can't bring him down. It's as if they need 2-3 tacklers just to get him to stop. And it's really a testament to Valenzuela's running ability.
Kahari Vanderbilt out to the right of Tui. Pitch goes to Anderson, and Anderson right over the right guard will get inside the 20.
And see, now this is where Independence can play the role of what Branham did in the first half. Now they can play the role of, let's put together a drive, let's milk the clock. And the way they've been running the ball, there really isn't much of a problem with that. So just keep it in bounds, just make sure that they can at least keep everything going. And with us being past the 7-minute mark here in this fourth quarter, the more time you can draw off, the better.
Offset I for the Sixers is they'll hand off to Frost, and Frost down to the 12 of the Bruins. That's good enough for a first down. Marker was at the 14. And the Sixers are again going to be at the doorstep.
Of course, yet another set of downs here for the Sixers. And you were talking about Tui. He's had a really easy night. Just hand the ball off to his stable running back, say, go make a play.
Yeah, I don't think he's attempted double-digit passes in this game.
No.
Tui, hand off to Anderson, right up the gut. We'll get inside the 10, down to the 7-yard line. And this is just methodical now for Independence. Clock winding down, 11-point lead, success with the running game. All they have to do is hold on to the football, and they're going to pick up their third win in 3 tries to open 2012. Tui hands off to Frost. Frost breaks 1, 2 tackles, but is stopped by the third as he's down at the 5. Sets up third down for Independence.
And this is where the benefits of having a running back like Frost really comes in handy. If you want to put together those methodical drives, you just really want to just kill some time off the clock, while at the same time you're just keeping forward progress going. He doesn't need to break the big run. That's not what you need right now. Just keep it in short, simple gains.
Tui pitches back to Anderson. Anderson right behind the offensive line, in for the touchdown.
Almost made it look too easy.
Very, very easy for Alan Anderson as he picks up the 6. And Independence now with a commanding lead of 42-25. Could grow to 43 if the extra point is converted by Emmanuel Obasohan.
And I think you're really starting to see the fatigue set in, not just physical but mental as well.
Kick from Obasohan is up and good. And the score, 43-25 here, as there's just over 5 minutes left here in the fourth quarter at Independence High School.
Stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com postgame show, where we will select our player of the game, as well as wrap up all the action from this ballgame. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
Now Alan Anderson there, picking up his second rushing touchdown of this game. Jojo Valenzuela with 4. Many of them of the electric variety.
Very much so.
But again, Alan Anderson, in both his touchdowns, has done a nice job of just staying behind his big offensive linemen and following them into the end zone. Very technically sound way of playing the game when you're that close to the end zone and have an offensive line that's winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. Just stick yourself right behind him. As kicking off here for Independence is going to be Maurice Ross.
Interesting.
Emmanuel Obasohan not there. Ross with the kick. It's a ground hugger. Picked up at the 25 by the Bruins. Carried out to the 30 by Delbertson Daniel.
A ground hugger as opposed to a
line drive or regular kickoff.
Well, sure, but I would have called it maybe one of the skipping stone type of variety. But if you could skip a stone while kicking it, I'd be very impressed.
That would be very impressive.
It would be. Absolutely. You ever had success skipping stones before?
Absolutely.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I never could get that. I've tried numerous times. Maybe it's the...
You just need a real flat lake to throw on.
I've heard it's on the rock. If you have a flat rock, it helps.
Got to know how to throw it, too.
There's my problem.
Could be operator error.
True.
Mitchell King going to drop back to pass here on first down. Feeling the pressure, and he's going to be sacked back at the 26-yard line. Sack registered by Alexian Fogasau. It's the second time King has been sacked in this game.
And now you're seeing the Independence front seven. They can really start pinning their ears back because now they know Branham is forced to throw the ball. Secondary can start playing off. Maybe they start playing a little man-to-man. But the defensive line can just pin their ears back and just go after the quarterback.
King rolls out left, throws to Daniel, and Daniel, trying to make the catch at the 50, is leveled as the ball arrived, and I think it's going to be defensive pass interference as he had defenders blanketed around him. But just the timing of that with the ball and the hit arriving at the same time, and as I see it here for a second time, definitely early contact made by the Sixers. And that'll result in a first down for them. Pardon me, for the Bruins.
A little bit of a dangerous throw there by Mitchell King. As, of course, Delbertson Daniel was in between three Sixer defenders. Now, whether that was by design or not, but nevertheless, I mean, dangerous throw right there. And I can understand the play call because Independence's secondary has been the sort of the sieve of that defense today. But you know, to throw to somebody with three defenders around him, you got to be careful.
King setting up, and there'll be a timeout called by Independence. It's the first timeout here of the second half. 4 minutes, 24 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Score Independence 76ers 43, Branham Bruins 25.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you are enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
I know Philip and I like to travel to different venues.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Get some new schools we can go to.
Absolutely.
A lot of fun to see the different high schools, especially the ones with new football facilities like Independence has here. Gorgeous facility.
Of course,
they debuted here tonight.
Of course, we visited Cupertino last week. That was a very nice facility.
Mm-hmm. After the timeout, Mitchell King comes out with a four-wide set, takes the snap, hands off to Rogers. Rogers right up the middle as a flag gets thrown back at the line of scrimmage. Rogers down to the 48-yard line, and I would imagine this is going to be a hold.
I think you're right. And, of course, you are correct, Nostradamus.
Whenever a flag is thrown by the back referee to the line of scrimmage, 9 out of 10 times it's holding on the offense.
Oh, yeah. usually is the case. And what's really interesting about it is the mental mistakes have not really been an issue for Branham. It's just unfortunately with that fumble that they had, the mistakes just happened at the wrong time. It's not so much the quantity of mistakes, just the timing, whereas Independence, they've had the quantity of mistakes, but they haven't really gotten hurt by it. So it's really a case of two different sort of outcomes of what they've been wanting to do tonight. And Branham really has not much to be ashamed of. I mean, given how their roster is, how many people they have playing on both sides of the ball, they really did put up an impressive performance. They hung with Independence for at least 2/3 of the game.
They've played very well. King drops back to pass, throws towards the Bruins sideline, incomplete, looking for Delbertson Daniel. Sets up second down at the 30-yard line of the Bruins. Branham needs to get to the Sixer 48 for a first down. So for those mathematicians keeping track, that's 22 yards they need. Need a big play here, or a couple of big plays to get a new set of downs. It's Delbertson Daniel in the game along with Jermani Rogers. Kendall Eng split out to the far right. They're going to send Daniel in motion. Fake the handoff, throw down the center of the field. Overthrown was Omar El Saroji. That ball was nearly picked off. As King has done that a couple of times here tonight. If you want to pick at what the Bruins have done wrong, King has thrown dangerously to his receivers in a couple of instances. No interceptions have resulted.
But even on that last play, you could see what they were going for. I mean, again, that middle of the field has been where the Bruins' big plays have gone. And just that last one, just another golden opportunity, slips right through the fingers.
3rd and 22. King going to send Kendall Eng in motion. King drops back to pass, throws to Delbertson Daniel, and Daniel had that one hit him right in the mitts, but falls harmlessly to the ground. Incomplete. And the punt unit comes out for Branham with 3.5 minutes to play. The Bruins trail Independence 43-25.
And the second half has really been the story of everything. I mean, when going out of halftime, if you're Branham, only being down 22-18, you're playing an upper division team. You had to feel really good about where you stood with everything. But
punt here from King lands and dies right at the 43-yard line. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, that's all right. Hey, you got to call the action. It's fine. Pardon me for being so long-winded. But it seemed as if from the time when Valenzuela had the kickoff return, the momentum just shifted. I mean, even though Branham came back, 19-yard touchdown pass from King to Nanga, was trying to even it up. From that point, Independence just took control. And whether it was from the kick return or maybe another big play on the subsequent drive, from that point on, this has been all Independence. And like we said before, Branham has nothing to be ashamed of with their performance tonight. We've seen a lot of good things from their offense. Defensively, they got a lot to work on, obviously. But they've got the horses that are there. I mean, you've got Jermani Rogers. We've been calling his name a lot. Close to 100 yards rushing for him tonight. I mean, Mitchell King, 2 touchdown passes. Delbertson Daniel has had some big plays. They've got the weapons there. It's just a matter of stringing it all together and putting it all together consistently. And that's what's hurt them.
As here on the first down play for the Sixers, they'll hand it off to Anthony Reclusado. And Reclusado, running from the 42, will get out to the 50-yard line. New quarterback and for the Sixers, as it appears to be number 10, Kahari Vanderbilt, who's getting to take the snaps, as Thwet Tui going to get a rest for the rest of this game. So we're inside of 3 minutes. Independence is going to move to 3-0 on the year, while the Branham Bruins fall to 0-3. Branham, though, nothing to be ashamed of here on this night.
Not at
Hanging
all.
with a very tough Independence team as Frost gets the handoff and will get close to the first down. Not sure if he actually got there. Could be a couple inches short, and that's exactly what they're going to say. 3rd and a short one.
The nice thing is, though, with the way Independence's offense has gone, really the only thing the quarterback is there for is just to hand the ball off to the running back. So there's really no issue with putting somebody in like Kahari Vanderbilt to just hand the ball off to the running back. I mean, somebody's got to do it.
Vanderbilt from the shotgun is going to take it himself, run across for the first down inside the 40, 30, 25, where he's finally pushed out of bounds. Flags go flying, though, at about the 40-yard line. And I'm going to guess that it's going to be holding on Independence. They will get the first down, though, because where the holding penalty occurred, Vanderbilt had already gained the first down. So it'll be a new set of downs, but it will be back close to the 50-yard line, if not inside the Independence side of the 50. And it is just inside the 50-yard line.
It looks like the hold took place right around the line of scrimmage. They won't even get the credit for the first down, which is a little bit unusual, but
very unusual, as the flags were thrown at least 7 yards past the first down marker. But you're exactly right. They are going to say it's 3rd and 2 from essentially 3 inches inside the 50. They need the 48 for a first. Vanderbilt going to take the snap. No, it's Valenzuela. Valenzuela bouncing outside across the 50 inside the 45. Flag goes flying again as Valenzuela zigzagging around in between the left hash and the sideline. Finally going to be taken down. And we'll see what this flag is about.
not sure if he was trying to kill off time at the clock or if he was trying to get one more touchdown just for good measure, but just zigging and zagging and Christian and crossing, whatever you want to call it. He was doing it. I mean, he has been just so shifty. And Branham's just having a hard time, and it looks like it's going to be on Independence again.
Another penalty on Independence. So we'll do this third down for the third time here. Independence has gotten a first down the past two times. We'll see if they can do it a third time as we approach 1 minute left in this game. As Tui back under center, going to hand the ball off to the big man, number 57, Maurice Ross, and Ross bangs his way out to the 47-yard line.
A play like that is something like Coach Harbaugh would be proud of. Sending the big boy toting the rock.
Again, Ross going to set up in the backfield here. Sixers trying to draw the Bruins offside, gain the first down. It's 4th and 5 here with a half a minute left in the game. Tui looking towards the sideline. And the Sixers are going to call a timeout. Looked like Tui was trying to time the snap about a second before the play clock expired, but in high school, the play clock is kept by the referee, and when you're inside of 10 seconds, it's just an arm count. And I don't think Tui knew where the arm count was because he was staring over at the sideline for so long. So a wise timeout, 23 seconds to go. And this is going to be, I would guess, a run up the gut. And if they don't get the first down, then Branham will get it and have time for one, maybe two plays to end this game.
Just a reminder to stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com postgame show, where we will select our player of the game as well as wrap up all the action from this ball game. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
So Tui trying to pitch it back. That doesn't work as the ball is picked up by Kehinde Olalehe, and he gets out across the 40-yard line, but he was down. Flags are thrown at the 40. As we're 12 seconds left in this game.
Don't these refs know my pizza's getting cold at home? I mean, really? I mean, a 3-hour hold for a pickup is going to get a little ridiculous.
Yep. Hold on Independence, but the penalties decline, so it's a turnover on downs. And that last series, which is only supposed to have a maximum of 4 downs, had at least 7.
It looked like
as a result of penalties.
But that's been sort of the theme of Independence's night. I mean, they had a lot of success tonight, but I just offhand count at least about 12 penalties.
Yeah, like I said during the third quarter, Independence has got to be close to 100 yards at that point. Now they almost assuredly are at 100 yards in penalties. So 12 seconds left. Mitchell King working with the Bruins offense at the Sixers 42. King going to keep it himself, run up the middle, be tackled at the 35. And that is going to do it. Pardon me, no, it is not going to do it. The Bruins got a timeout in with 1 second left on the game clock. And so Nick Gardner, the rest of the Bruins coaching staff, not going to let this one end.
Perhaps the longest 30 seconds I've ever seen of a football game.
This is like the last 30 seconds of a college basketball game.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you're fouling left and right, inbounds, immediately foul. The last 30 seconds take 20 minutes. Well, that's exactly what's happening here. They have put 1 second on the game clock. King going to drop back, throw out behind the intended receiver, Daniel. No flags, no timeouts. This game is over. And the Independent 76ers defeat the Branham Bruins 43-25. And the 76ers will move to 3-0 on the season, while the Branham Bruins fall to 0-3. Do want to invite you to stay tuned to the PlayOnSports.com for our post-game coverage. We'll wrap up all the action in our post-game show, and we'll have an interview with our player of the game. That's coming up in just a few moments. Once again, the final score here at Independence High School, the 76ers of Independence 43, the Branham Bruins 25 on Friday Night Football on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the PlayOnSports.com post-game show. We're working on getting an interview with our player of the game, JoJo Valenzuela. 4 touchdowns in this one, so stay tuned here for the PlayOn Sports post-game show. Independent 76ers 43, Branham Bruins 25. Back with more here on PlayOnSports.com.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3, beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Welcome back here to the PlayOnSports.com post-game show. I'm Ben Taylor here with our player of the game, JoJo Valenzuela, after the Independence 76ers defeat the Branham Bruins 43-25 here at home. 76ers now 3-0 on the year. How's that undefeated feeling feel?
You know, it just feels great, you know, working out all summer long, preparing for the season. You know, senior year, my senior year, and my team senior year. We're just ready to take it all.
4 touchdowns for you tonight.
Yes.
A lot of electricity out there. Who do you give credit for those runs? I mean, obviously yourself, you're able to bounce outside, big runs there. But other than yourself and finding the holes, where do you give the credit for those big runs?
For sure my line.
Yeah.
You know, I'm with them all the time. We have a great bond. You know, they're just great, outstanding, you know, just dominant on the field and just give it all to them.
How about those kickoff returns for touchdowns? Have you had one of those yet this year?
Yeah, I had one last game.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Now, if you had your preference for a touchdown run, would you like to take it from the line of scrimmage or grab that kickoff and take it 80 to 90 yards?
You know, I don't know. Just whatever happens in the game, you know, just go with the flow.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Get the 6 any way you can.
Yeah, anyway.
Now you got a big game coming up next week here at home again against Oak Grove. Both teams are going to be undefeated coming into next Friday. What's preparation going to be like this week?
You know, we're going to have practice Saturday, and we're going to have practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, nonstop. You know, we got to get ready for these guys. We know what they're capable of. We've seen them play, watch film on them, and we're just ready to go out.
So even after the win here tonight, right back to it tomorrow, huh?
Yeah.
All right, well, best of luck next Friday. It was a pleasure to watch you go to work here tonight. We'll be back with more here on the post-game show.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Welcome back to the PlayOnSports.com post-game show here in San Jose, California. I'm Ben Taylor alongside Philip Kern. We're at Independence High School. We saw the Independence 76ers defeat the Branham Bruins by a final score of 43-25. And Philip, really a strong game by our player of the game, JoJo Valenzuela. But the margin of victory, 18 points, not really indicative of how this game played out, at least for the majority of the game, where the Bruins were right in it, at least through three quarters.
It really was. I mean, like you said, it was closer than the score indicated, and really got to give a lot of credit to Independence because they did not let the game get away from them. It would have been very, very easy once Branham got to within 4 points to really just sort of panic a little bit, because what you saw here tonight was A Division Mount Hamilton League team with Independence against the B Division team Santa Teresa with Branham. But Independence really showed that they had the better horses today. Of course, we saw JoJo Valenzuela over 200 total yards at least from what we counted. I mean, of course, we lost count after a while.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns altogether. I mean, he was just absolutely electric tonight. But what we saw from Independence tonight was a total team effort, not just with the successes, but unfortunately with the mistakes as well. I mean, we counted at least a dozen penalties tonight, a lot of them before the snap, and even a couple of them where touchdowns were called back. Once league play starts, that's not going to break their way next time, because not every team is going to be like Branham. And, of course, next week doesn't get any easier with Oak Grove coming here. And if they want to have any chance to put themselves in a position to win against Oak Grove, they got to get a handle on the penalties. But as far as Branham goes, really an impressive performance considering everything that happened. For about 2/3 of the way, they were in step with Independence, and in fact took advantage of 2 turnovers, turned them into 14 points. So the opportunities were there. They had a lot of bright spots. I mean, Mitchell King, very, very impressive. And just everything that went on, they just sort of got fatigued at the end. And with a roster that small, you have to sort of expect that.
With the loss, the Bruins fall to 0-3. Independence, as we've mentioned a couple times, undefeated at 3-0. That big, big matchup here at Independence against Oak Grove next Friday. That is going to be a doozy of a game. And Independence does have the athleticism to keep up with a very talented Oak Grove team, but if they commit as many penalties as they did tonight against Oak Grove, I have a hard time seeing the Sixers winning next Friday. But as we heard JoJo Valenzuela say during the Player of the Game interview, they're getting right back at it tomorrow, even after a victory. Norm Brown, head coach, not taking anything for granted. He wants his guys back out there tomorrow to get ready for the very, very difficult Oak Grove team.
And as they should, because I mean, Oak Grove, as we speak, had their own sort of tune-up game tonight playing McClymonds High School. And they're not exactly a Branham Bruins, okay? McClymonds is a very, very strong team, and Oak Grove had their work cut out for them, at least as far as tonight goes. So you know they're going to be ready for this. As far as Independence goes, what it really comes down to is a couple things. They got to take care of the penalties, first and foremost, but their secondary has to play better. They let a lot of big plays get through them tonight, and Oak Grove, they will find any and all ways to beat you, whether it's through the ground game or whether it's through the passing game. They will find some ways to do it. They have the athletes. They've been a perennial power for many, many years, and there's a good reason for it. So for Independence, they have to put everything on lockdown. They have to be strong mentally, and that includes, I know we've harped on this with the penalties, but everything has got to be tight and ready to go, because that is probably one of the best matchups that's going to happen this next week to open up league play in the Mount Hamilton division.
One thing we did learn tonight, Oak Grove is going to have their hands full with JoJo Valenzuela. We'll have to see what he has in store next Friday. But that's going to wrap it up here from Independence High School, where the 76ers defeated the Branham Bruins by a final score of 43-25. Do want to thank all of you for joining us here on this Friday night on PlayOnSports.com. And I want to remind you to check PlayOnSports.com's Facebook and Twitter throughout the week to see what games are coming up next Friday. For Ben Taylor and Philip Kern, so long here from San Jose, California.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.